this is Bino. Welcome back to my channel. Today what I wanted to do was talk about Prusik cords for a split tail system and using it on climbing as a climbing hitch. What we got are the splice die, we got a sewn eye, and we got termination knots. And we also have the shorter cord and the longer cords. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's get to it. So the reason I wanted to talk about these Prusik cords is because I want to start working on some videos showing the different Prusik cord knots or hitches that you can use for climbing. And I think it's important to understand the cords you want to use. I'm not going to go over every single thing. But anyhow, I wanted to just kind of put that on the table before we start talking about split tail climbing hitches. Anyhow, the first one I wanted to talk about was a sewn eye Prusik cord. So a sewn eye, it's made that way. Really nice to use. It's really clean. They make it in the factory. How they do that is they'll cut a portion of the cover off. They'll bring the inside and somehow they double it over. They bring it in. You can feel there's an area where it's really solid, and then they stitch it. Now, I don't know the process of that, but that's a real proper way to do it. If you get something like this, you want to get it from an arborist supply where you know that it's not going to come undone on you. So that's a splice die. The next thing I wanted to talk about is a sewn eye. So this is what the sewn eye looks, and this one still has its ANSI rating on it. You can see that it's really machine stitched. The rope is just doubled over and then they stitch it. So this stitching, the way they do it, it makes it, they're able to hold your weight. You want to make sure that when you're buying a sewn eye, it's made that way. Not too long ago, a friend of mine, he showed a picture. Now, he works for a large company, a guy named Philip. Anyhow, he got a split tail from a guy who was using it out in the field. And the guy, what he did is he doubled over, I think it was a beeline. He doubled over a beeline and he stitched it with like 20 stitches, and he wrapped electrical tape around it, which is just, you could see how this is kind of worn, it's kind of shiny. The guy had been using that split tail that he created with about 20 stitches and electrical tape. That's your life. The guy was climbing, he must have been using it for a while. Philip got a hold of it and he confiscated it. So anyhow, if you're going to do a sewn eye, you want to make sure it's going to be the proper one. Make sure it's rated and you get it from a company that's reputable. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are termination knots on a split tail. So a termination knot on a split tail, it's the same rule as if you were doing it for your main climbing line termination knot. So on that, what you want to do is have 5 diameter lengths for your tail. So if this is your cord, you want to have 5 of these diameter lengths. That's how long you want your tail. This one's a little bit more than 5. It's like 6 diameter lengths. So this would be proper. Okay. Now, and this is, I think, maybe almost a 10 millimeter cord. Now, this one right here, it's only like 3 diameter lengths. This wouldn't be enough length to use. Now, you can always grow greater, longer, it just gets in the way, but greater is better. Less than 5 lengths, it's not good. What can happen on a termination knot, usually they cinch down and they don't run on you. You don't really need to have a stopper on it, but you do have to have the 5 diameter lengths. So on the top here, that's proper. Below is not. You got to make sure it's 5 diameter lengths. Okie doke. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the length of the Prusik cords. So in this one is a 24 inch and this one's a 30 inch. So the one I like is a 24. 30 is good for like a VT, a longer kind of legs. If you're a short guy, you might like having a shorter length because it gives you shorter legs. A tall guy might like a real tall cord, but it doesn't mean it. I mean, if you do like a knot that moves fast, a VT is good with a longer cord. So anyhow, what I wanted to do is show you how I tie a knot or a climbing hitch with the 24, and then I'll show you the same knot with the 30 inch. So I'm just going to tie the knot at MICHOACÁN just real quick and kind of show what it looks like after I got it like tied, dressed, and set. Let me get it closer here. Okay. So the legs are going to be really short. Cool. So that's how long the legs are when you're done with it. Then you're going to get your pulley, connect it. And this is a 4-wrap MICHOACÁN. So, you know, you probably couldn't do a 5-wrap just because these legs are so short. Now, what I like about this is because the knot's going to be real close to me. When I move up, it's going to stay close. I got short arms, so I really like that. And the fact is I could do 4 wraps because these legs are so short. With a longer cord, you may need more wraps, and I'll show you what a MICHOACÁN looks like now. I'm going to undo this one, and I'll take out the longer cord. Push that down a little. And so with the 30-inch, now if I'm going to do the same knot, I would probably do it a 5 instead of a 4. So here we go. So you got 1, 2, 3, then 4. Oops. Bring it around. Okay, so legs are equal. And so you could see right here, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on top, and the bottom is the 5th. Okay, now, and the legs are still pretty long. So if you put your pulley on, so what you got to do is kind of find out the material you like, because there's lots of different cords and different ropes. Some cords don't work well with some ropes. You know, it's going to be your preference. And so this is it with 5 wraps. And if I had longer legs, I would want to do 5 wraps, because if I had maybe 4, it might, like, because these legs are so long, it may not hang if I put my weight on it after a climb. But this looks like it'll work really well. That was Prusik cords. So the different lengths are important. Some people like a longer length so they can have longer legs, or a shorter length. With the longer, sometimes there's a little bit more setback, and with the shorter, there's less. With a shorter cord, you might have less wraps. With a longer cord, you may have to add some wraps for the knots to work proper. Also, we talked about the termination ends and the proper length of them, and the splice ties, and then the sewn eyes. And what's really important about a sewn eye is that you get one that's the proper ones. You don't make it yourself. Well, I hope you liked that video on Prusik cords. I plan on doing some videos in the upcoming weeks on Prusik cord hitches for climbing. So I think it's important to know a little bit more about the cords. Anyhow, comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you like what we do. Share our videos if you know people who like our stuff. All right, take care. See you next time.